Health and Social Care Act 2012. This Act ended 3 previous directives: Commission for Social Care, Healthcare Commission, Mental Health Act Commission in England, and created the Care Quality Commission, CQC. All care provided by care homes, hospitals, ambulances, dentists, home care services, and any other care-related establishments must all meet the regulations as set out by this independent manager. Equality Act 2010. This Act combines the majority of all the United Kingdom's anti-discrimination laws into one single law. The Act applies to all organisations that provide a service to the public. The Act specifies 9 features that are protected. These are age, disability, gender reassignment, marriage and civil partnership, pregnancy and maternity, race, religious belief or non-belief, sex and sexual orientation. Protection of Freedoms Act 2012, Safeguarding Vulnerable Groups Act 2006. The UK's government's legislative programme to safeguard public rights and reduce the burden of government intrusion into the lives of individuals. The Act oversaw changes which were implemented, primarily the creation of the Disclosure and Barring Service, which had been formed from the Criminal Records Bureau, an independent safeguarding authority, changes to regulated activity, and work that a barred person must not do. The Safeguarding Vulnerable Groups Act was passed to help avoid harm or risk of harm by preventing people who are deemed unsuitable to work with children and vulnerable adults from gaining access to them through their work. The Independent Safeguarding Authority was established as a result of this Act. Local Safeguarding Adults Board, SAB. As part of the formation of the Care Act 2014, a requirement included the establishment of a Safeguarding Adults Board, SAB, to bring together the statutory members of the local authorities, NHS, and police to coordinate actions that protects adults from abuse or neglect. The SAB is to ensure any persons aged 18 years or over are protected from risk of harm, abuse or neglect. They are to establish a person's needs for care and support, and as a result of any needs, the services they require. All professionals are to be aware of their local area Safeguarding Adults Board to ensure they are meeting their requirements for safeguarding. It is imperative that the SAB organise a Safeguarding Adults Review, SAR, when a vulnerable adult in their area dies as a result of abuse or neglect, and to discuss if there is a concern that partnership services could have worked more efficiently and effectively to protect the vulnerable adult. A Safeguarding Adults Review must also be organised in the event that a vulnerable adult has not died, but there is a suspicion that they have experienced serious risk of harm, abuse or neglect. The reviews are put into place to ensure that any actions which went wrong can be rectified for the future, and all services can improve their standards as a result of the highlighted wrongdoing. Care Quality Commission Fundamental Standards, Regulation 13 Safeguarding, 2014. The intention of this regulation, which came into force in April 2015, is to safeguard people who use services from suffering any form of abuse or improper treatment while receiving care and treatment. The Care Quality Commission, CQC, has a duty to monitor how well providers are doing to safeguard the adults in their care by assessing the quality and safety of care they provide. They produce reports on providers displaying the ratings in various areas as to whether they are safe, effective, caring, responsive, and well-led. They will also assess whether the services are assisting those people whose circumstances may make them vulnerable, experiencing poor mental health, including people with dementia, older people, people with long-term conditions, families, children and young people, working-age people, including recently retired and students. The annual report on the NHS State of Care declared that 31st of July 2017, 78% adult social care locations rated good, 2% outstanding, 19% required improvement, and 1% inadequate. 31st of July 2018, 79% adult social care locations rated good, 3% outstanding, 17% required improvement, and 1% inadequate, which shows a marked improvement from the previous year to the following year and their commitment to safeguarding vulnerable adults. The Safeguarding Vulnerable Groups, Northern Ireland, Order 2007. The order makes provision for checking persons seeking to work with children or vulnerable adults and for barring those considered to be unsuitable for such posts, whether in paid employment or voluntary work. You can read further information on this order by going onto the www.legislation.gov.uk website. Adult Support and Protection, Scotland, Act 2007. This Act seeks to protect and benefit adults at risk of being harmed. The Act requires councils and a range of public bodies to work together to support and protect adults who are unable to safeguard themselves, their property, and their rights. You can read more about the Adult Support and Protection Scotland Act 2007 by going on to the www.legislation.gov.uk website. Wales. Social Services and Wellbeing Act 2014 and Care Inspectorate, Wales. The Social Services and Wellbeing Wales Act did not come into force until 6th of April 2016. The Act provides the legal framework for improving the well-being of people who need care and support, and carers who need support, and for transforming social services in Wales. You can read more about this Act by going to the www.legislation.gov.uk website and the www.careinspectorate.wales/regulations website.